We are live.
Oh no, no, wait.
You're
Okay.
live at here.
Oh, we are.
Yeah,
Hello. That's hilarious.
I love it.
All right. Let's just get started. It is our first day going live on this channel. Actually, we went live before my other channel, but now Muhuba Fabulous and I, Fatia Absia, looking at you from Ohio and from the Emerald City, Seattle, Washington. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Fatih Apsia, and that's Mahubo Fabulous. Today, we want to discuss how so many young Americans are fleeing to China, China, and how people are actually just going to meet their counterparts straight and hear it from the horse's mouth instead of hearing it from, hearing all the propaganda from their politicians and demagoguery. They're taking it directly to their brothers and sisters in humanity. And boy, oh boy, is it a beautiful thing to witness. I am just enjoying what's happening and how people are getting to know each other and connecting. And it's so beautiful to see. Muhbo, what's your
Mhm,
take? I'm personally just so happy and delighted because I love seeing humanity connect
mhm.
directly with one another rather than, you know, middleman
Yeah,
feeding them propaganda.
removing the barrier. I mean, this is an incredible time to witness, honestly. As a refugee myself, who came to America because of America being the land of opportunities, I love that Americans are finding out what life is like in other countries because they deserve to know it. I honestly, me personally, I love Americans. Like I love Americans. I feel like what makes America being one of the best countries in the world, it's because of its people, not its politicians,
Absolutely.
leaders, but the American people are one of the. I mean, of course, nobody's perfect, but they are very welcoming. They're not really aware of the rest of the world. I remember when I was in middle school, like some of my Americans, when I like classmates, when I tell them like I'm from Africa, they'll say, "Oh, you lived in a hut." You know, a lot of them just imagine Africa to be like, like one of those countries where everybody lives in a hut. And I'm glad they're getting exposed. A lot of them are actually talking about now checking out other social medias like African social media, Russia social media. And I'm like, I love this. You guys are on a journey to explore other worlds, and you're not just taking what was taught, what was brought to you. Because I always say that the knowledge that's like taught to you is the knowledge that you know uh, favors someone else, or like does something for someone else, and it doesn't really do much for you. But the information that you seek it yourself is the one that's going to change your life. So if you
Absolutely.
always want life changing information, you really have to be in search of seeking that knowledge. Otherwise, you're just going to receive the information that someone else wants you to know, and that is going to create a barrier. So I am just thrilled. I also myself have a Rednote, the same name here, and I love it. I love seeing the conversations between the Chinese and the Americans, and really, like, it's fascinating. Are you on Rednote, Fatia?
I have not joined yet. I'm always very behind when it comes to joining social media because I just wait. I've waited for so long. TikTok, Instagram, all of them, even YouTube. So
Yeah,
I
I
had
feel
a
like you're lagging.
I had a YouTube account a long time ago, but I waited a long time before posting it. But yeah, I'm always behind. I just wait and watch for a while. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and download it.
Yeah.
Um, it you know what's very interesting is the fact that Mark Zuckerberg thought,
Mhm.
oh my God, now that TikTok is being banned, all these youngsters are gonna flee to my Meta, and young people cannot stand Meta. Well, first of
Mhm.
all, YouTube they consider. I mean, Facebook is considered old people's playground, and
Have you seen
Instagram
the comments on there?
and Instagram is not quite like TikTok because TikTok is incredible. As what an
Right.
amazing app. I mean, what's unique is that Asians always they don't. come up with new things, but they take what has been created in America or in the West, and they actually perfect, these things. And boy,
Really? You think that? I think otherwise. I especially after being on Rednote, a lot of things they have a smart cars for 15,000.
I know, but what I'm saying, they don't start things from the beginning. They don't necessarily come up with new technology, but they perfect the technologies that has been found here. It's
But
very
they're
well
ahead
known.
of us. They have a lot of technology.
They are ahead of us in terms of perfecting it, but there's very little that they come up with. A lot of the technology and everything we're witnessing, including the buildings and everything, is they take it and they make it better, and perfect. Okay, first of all, there's nothing new. The technology that has been and the ingenuity that has been taking place in America itself, it's not like Americans came up with it or Westerners came up with it. Humanity has discovered everything a long time ago. It's just things get better. People come up with something and then they leave it, or it might be mediocre, or they might just abandon it, and others come along and take it and perfect it. Yeah. And it's always the perfection that we often see. And so yeah, I mean, it's incredible. And the fact that a lot of these young people are not only connecting, but they're also comparing and contrasting lifestyles and medical bills and all that. We have a couple of videos here. Let's share the last one. I think the last one I send you, which this young woman is talking about. Oh my God, we're fleeing.
Yeah,
let's see that.
The last one, right?
Yeah.
What have y'all done? They're gonna be so mad. Imagine tomorrow morning, Mark Zuckerberg and like all of Congress is gonna wake up and they're gonna be like, oh shit.
The video is not showing, just so you know.
Not showing?
Chinese.
No, just the voice. This is our first day doing this together here.
Oh my God.
Forgive us. It's okay. Actually, hearing the voices is just fine. The audio is
just fine. You can't see the video?
No.
So
it's okay. Let's just hear it.
Yeah, I forgot it's in my text messages.
Yeah, let's just hear it.
I'll add it. Okay, we'll add it in the editing. We'll add it in the editing.
I know, but it's better for people to hear it. Why don't I play for them?
Okay, please.
You were playing it. Just play it.
I can play from my phone.
Yeah, just play it.
Okay. Oh, the sound? You didn't see my text messages? I pull up on my iMessage. You know what I'm asking? Like, people weren't seeing my text messages. That's what I'm concerned about.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Why don't I just show them? We'll just show them. Anyway, we're just blabbing. Yeah. We're not very. Here.
So you want to show the ranking?
Yeah, I want people to hear what's happening. Yeah. Here she is. Hold on. Imagine there. Morning, go ahead. Now we can't hear the voice.
You can?
No.
It's like the second.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, let me start over.
Right now in the app. What have y'all done? They're gonna be so mad. Imagine tomorrow morning, Mark Zuckerberg and like all of Congress is gonna wake up and they're gonna be like, oh shit. An actual Chinese app is like the second most downloaded app right now in the App Store. Like they didn't just like cancel their TikTok accounts and like flood over to Meta and like, they literally went and voluntarily like gave their information.
It's actually like number one right now too. It was let me show one that I actually the one that about like, they say that you Americans eat like you have a free health insurance. They're actually saying that. I see the comment. Yeah, and I did a TikTok reaction to that.
Someone went on Rednote.
Like, meaning you eat too much. In other words,
right?
It's upside down.
Why do you eat like your healthcare is free?
That's good.
Like we're finding out that, like, we have to pay so much for health insurance, but also our food is so poisoned. Like we have tons of chemicals that none of the other countries around the world, even third world countries, don't allow some of the ingredients in our food in their food that goes into their country. But here we are in America, like our food is just filled with coloring and all kind of chemicals. And
We
here
are
we
literally being
have health
poisoned.
insurance.
Absolutely, we are being poisoned, and the fact that a lot of people have been programmed in America because the American dream, and of course I still believe in the American dream, because for me, I mean, I came from a third world country, and America is the only place I've always wanted to come, and I am delighted that I'm here, and there's no other place I'd rather be. But having said that, the I think how people have been programmed and conditioned that if you just do everything you're supposed to do, the American dream will be within your grasp. I think that is so wrong, because there are so many people that work 15 hours, two jobs, are doing everything they're supposed to do, are following all the rules, and they're still very poor, and they're still having hard time surviving. And so the reality is,
Maybe we should be following
not
rules.
not everyone is going to be successful. That's the bottom line. Not everyone, an entire country will not be successful. There will be people who, just like there are people who are short, people who are fat, people who are skinny.
No, I don't. You don't get to choose. You get to choose if you're going to be poor in poverty. That's a choice you make.
That's absolutely not true. Nobody would choose something like that, Muhibba. Let me finish first my argument. No one would choose to be poor. No one would choose to be a drug addict. No one would choose to be. There are conditions that facilitate these kind of situations. Just look at the way our country, for example, is designed. Like many times, a lot of our white Americans have already generational wealth. How can a black person who have never had that can compete with someone who is going to have an aunt, an uncle, a father or a mother? Chances, I remember when I used to work for corporate America, I had friends, they're like, sometimes I would pay their lunch, because I'm generous, and because they're always stretching and penny pinching. And then all of a sudden they'll take a week off, come back, and they have a new car, or I'm getting ready to buy a home. Well, what happened? Well, my uncle died or my aunt died, and they left me some money. Nothing like that is available to, for example, African Americans. And there's no way that someone with generational wealth, even if even if they're not from a wealthy family, but the fact that they have the benefit of the doubt, compared to someone who, for example, all this stuff that a lot of people, especially conservatives, are making such a big deal out of the DEI, that as if somebody's just going to bring a black person or a person of color who is not a college graduate, who is not qualified, and just will put them in in an office, or will give them a job that they're not qualified for. That is actually, it couldn't be farther from the truth. The reality is, because DEI is important, it's because a lot of, for example, African Americans who are just as qualified as their white counterparts oftentimes will not get the same opportunity for just even an interview. There has been studies that has been conducted many times, just by your name sounding
right
like a person, you might not get the interview. I myself, I have friends, African American friends, that I am an African. I was not born here. African Americans should have better rights than me, if anything. Yet I would get more opportunities, because a lot of white people would look at me as someone, oh, she doesn't have that package, that all that history. It's easy for Africans and anyone else who is a newcomer to get more opportunities than African Americans. So I don't think the American dream is available to everyone, including nowadays to a lot of white people. There are a lot of white people who always believe the American dream is available to me, and they're working very, very, very hard. And before you take it, I'm going to show this young woman, and then I'll let you rebuttal. Because this is kind of like a nice little debate we're having.
We are in so disagreement.
Okay, just a second. Okay,
disagree, right?
Here. Well, that's what it's all about, you know. Okay, here. This is listen to this young woman.
Because I've reached the part in this whole like class consciousness part.
Actually, this way.
Where I'm just filled with the most impotent rage. And like I'm talking that white hot, I need to sink my teeth into something and scream kind of rage. Because what do you mean that it never had to be this hard for us? Like, what do you mean in other countries they don't have to spend 20% of their paycheck on groceries? What do you mean in other countries everyone can own homes because they're not paying $2,000 a month in rent, or that their mortgages aren't like their entire paycheck? What do you mean that people in China work one job and they don't even work 40 hours and they can easily afford their life? And then I'm over here working 60 hours a week, just me as a single parent, to like barely make ends meet, and I'm penny pinching every single second, and like there's so much of life that my kid misses out on and that I miss out on because of money and like work and no social support net. And you mean to tell me that it didn't have to be like this? They keep us in these chains on purpose, and it never had to be like this. Like, I did everything right. I went to college. I had to drop out of college to take care of my mom when she was sick because, again, no social services, like, no safety net. My dad worked his whole life and died and left everything to my mom.
Okay, so what do you tell her? I like to hear how that is her fault, Muhbo.
Two things, and also I want to tie it down to your first point about, like, you know, you say that some people never heard of this and they never heard of the opportunities of building wealth or generational wealth. So one, to me, it's like insurance is out there. Like if you want to buy life insurance, it's out there. You go ahead and buy it. That's the information that's not going to be handed to you. Earlier, beginning of this talk, I mentioned that some information that will personally benefit you is not given to you for free. You have to seek it. You have to seek that information. If you want, when your member of your family dies or passed away, if you want, like, get something out of that, you got to get life insurance. You got to put them in life insurance. They got to purchase life insurance. Life insurance can be as low as literally $5 a month. I believe that a lot of people can afford it.
Go ahead.
That's that. Two, you don't need to follow the rules. Like even this TikToker, she mentioned that they followed the rules. You don't need to follow rules that were set for you. This is what I truly believe. The people who created the rules, it doesn't apply to them. When you follow rules blindly and you're like, because you're oblivious to the world around you, you have no one else to blame but yourself, because you are oblivious to the world around you. You're following rules that were created for you to follow. You need to do your due diligence. You need to find out how does this rule benefit me? I'm not saying break the law and anything like that, but any rule that was made for you, you need to question it. You need to analyze it, see how it benefits you, and also always follow the money. Who is this rule benefiting? Who implemented this rule? Always remember, the people who are making the rules, they are in a room that you're not in. So the people who create the rules, they don't follow the rules because they are creating for other people. So anytime you're following a rule, ask yourself, does this rule benefit me or it benefits the people who created it? That's rule number one, okay? Rule number two, seek out the information. There are ways to build wealth, generational wealth, long-term wealth, play the long game. life is going to be much easier. Nobody's saying that it's going to be easy, but you have to be strategic. You have to use whatever resources that are available to you, books, knowledge that you pay for, hearing from people that have done what you want to do. And it's all about stretching yourself. Maybe you stretch yourself short amount of time, but myself as an immigrant who came to America, I had to, like, pull myself through the bootstrap. Like, I had to seek knowledge that wasn't easily available to me. I had to pay. Like, there were times that I remember I had to choose to pay to go to a conference versus like having extra money to go to shopping. Okay. I had to make that choice. There were times that I would just like eat one meal a day so I can save money to seek knowledge. You have to, in this world, you have to prioritize the knowledge that's not given to you. The knowledge, anytime a knowledge, you see it on TV, someone wants to teach you, it's just out there, it's going to cost you in different way. It might not cost you monetarily, but it will cost you other things. So you want to be aware what kind of rules you're following, what kind of information you're receiving. And I honestly believe that we all have the ability to create the life we want. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. But if you follow rules that are created in this world, remember, life is going to be hard for you. And honestly, you have no one else to blame but yourself. That's how I see it. To me, we have so much power as humans. You can create the life you desire. And I'm not saying it's easy. Through the process of creating that life, you might be homeless. You might not have a job. You might lose everything. You might even lose parts of yourself. You might even lose your psyche. But remember, like TikTok, a lot of people, when California fires were happening, they were writing, eat the rich, eat the rich. People have so much hate towards people who have money that, like, nothing. If you hate something, it's not going to come to you. If you hate money and you associate money with evil, it's going to be hard for you to have money. Also, remember, people in the world, they pay different price to have what they have. And you just have to pay a different price. That's where I'm at. I don't really sympathize with anyone who's complaining about how their life hard life is. Because to me, it's like, okay, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do if life is hard?
You, what's interesting is that argument is the argument that is really pissing people off, because that's an argument that didn't work. That argument is actually becoming more and more obsolete, because the bottom line is information is power. Information is power. It was a Reagan that said, he was told, Mr. President, did you know there are, at the time, 700,000 Americans are homeless? And he said, that couldn't be. And they said, well, that is the case. And he said, well, there must be, an information problem, because there's no way, if they had all the information they needed, that they would be poor. So information, first and foremost, is power. And there are powers, people who, first of all, a lot of the people who use, I actually, work hard and did all the right things. And, I had a little bit of loan here, and my mother gave me a couple of hundred, and I stretched that money. A lot of it is lies. 60% of the wealthiest people in the world inherit their money. 60% of the richest people in the world. So they didn't, grab themselves from the bootstrap. Not very many people actually do. And secondly, as a person who is, you were told the information you were giving, people are following the information that they were given. It takes time for you to sit back and recalculate and recalibrate and re-strategize. Everything we know, you and I, right now, it's not like we knew 10, 15 years ago. These things take time. A lot of the people who are asking these questions right now are young people, and they probably will not follow the rules without breaking the law the same way, but these things take time. And people have the right to be angry when 60% of the California water is controlled by one single family. You telling me they deserve that? No, they didn't deserve that. They didn't deserve that. They are actually, I actually know their daughter invited me to California, to Los Angeles once. We had a dinner when I was running the organization, Eat with Muslims. A lovely, lovely lady. This family, a Zionist family who give a lot of money to the IDF, and also spend a lot of money basically lobbying to control the water. This is natural resources that belongs to everyone.
Right. And a lot of people are just finding out that's the case.
And people have the right to be mad at people like that. People have the right to be mad at people like Elon Musk, who his father owned and operated a mine, copper mine in South Africa, conditioning South Africans into life of poverty and hell. And then he brings that money here, goes to some of the best schools here. And it's not like because he's smart, he got to where he is. It's because he used a lot of smart people, because he had money already. Okay. So a lot of these people come from money. None of them, very few people are, are people who actually started from scratch. There aren't too many people who did not actually take advantage of people that got to where they are. So there's no question about the fact that America is the land of opportunities. There are plenty of opportunities, but these opportunities, it takes time for people to realize, and how do I get to where I'm going? And instead of just taking the beaten path, and just keep going on the same road that has got me nowhere. So a lot of this nonsense that people talk about, everybody has the right to be, everybody, yes, has the right to be, to at least a country that is as rich as our country, possibly the wealthiest nation in the world. People should have certain things that they shouldn't have to worry about. You shouldn't worry about being homeless and being one paycheck away from being homeless with children. You shouldn't worry about, if you get sick, should you pay your rent, or should you seek help because you're sick? Because people do get sick, and that's not something you can control. People shouldn't worry about whether they should buy medicine or eat a second meal. This is not what we pride on ourselves. This is America, the land of the free, the most powerful nation in the world, the richest nation in the world. And you judge a nation and judge people not by what they have, not by the might of their military, but by how they treat their vulnerable people. Right now, last year alone, when the richest people in the world added, in America alone, $1 trillion to their wealth, we added 24% to homelessness. Okay. Elon Musk alone added 140 billion to his wealth. Do you think he worked for it? No, he didn't. This was stocks alone.
Exactly. So who's stopping the average person purchasing a stock?
It's definitely not fair. The system is broken, and rich people like that get actually welfare. Did you know that they get welfare? They get corporate welfare. We're not willing to.
They're not playing by the rules. That's exactly what it is.
We let our people rot on the streets, yet we give 4 billion here, 10 billion there, 9 billion here to the richest people in the world. That is disgusting and despicable, if you ask me. Can we show one more video?
Yes.
Okay, and then you can take it from there. By the way, a lot of these people, a lot of these young Americans are finding out that in China, because it's a communist nation, 90% of the people actually own their homes. Whatever space they're living in, they own their homes. They're finding out that healthcare is free. It's right. They're finding out, that a lot of these people don't work, 40 hours or less, and they can afford their mortgage. They can afford their rent. Life is too damn short. Instead of hoarding money that you will never spend, you need to stop taking advantage of, everyday people. Here's
I'm
this
sure
young
they
lady.
are paying the price in different way.
Want us to be
They're
poor.
not paying the
Do you
price.
guys really think
This
that
is what we were
Congress, the
told.
Supreme-
This is what we were told. It's a very peaceful nation. It's a beautiful land, beautiful buildings.
And why do they
beautiful-
come to America
beautiful
to
roads.
buy businesses and build lands and build
Because
rental homes?
a lot of times people who come here are people that have money. They own 40% of our infrastructure and buildings and real estate. So they bring you, when you have money, you go where money is. A lot of ordinary people, they're not there. A lot of ordinary people
I literally have it on do not disturb, but
Yeah.
it's gonna come through. Let me see. This is ridiculous.
Okay, I'm gonna have this
Court
one.
and the Biden administration have no idea what an economic boost this has been for Americans, how life-changing this has been for Americans. No, they know. They're not dumb. They don't like it. You really think late-stage capitalism is just about free markets and making money, but they're banning TikTok? Banning a literal sub-economy and an economy boost in the middle of a recession? Going back to the fact that, like, if America or someone in America had wanted to do what TikTok is doing by, like, giving money back to put money back in, that works. That works. Nobody's losing out from the creator fund. Nobody loses. TikTok wins, we win. America wants us to be fucking poor. No, they want to compete with TikTok, but they're not going to monetize like that. They want us to be so tired at our 9-to-5s, at our 70+ hour a week jobs, at our 2 jobs, at our 3 jobs. They want us to be so tired that we don't have any time to pay attention to what they're talking about in Congress. Like, they do not like how many influencers there are. I guarantee you, they don't like the class of people that can be an influencer and make a lot of money right now. They hate it. God forbid the American people actually have an easy way to make a side hustle that isn't one of the backbreaking options that I just listed. Like, God forbid there's actually a way to make some side money and make our lives a little better. They don't want our lives to be better. The last thing they ever want is to see us happy and successful, because their success hinges on us being miserable, poor, tired, way too tired to look up, way too tired to get on Rednote and see the quality of life in China. This whole situation has not woken you up to the fact that it is literally rich versus poor. It is literally everyone in the U.S. government and the top 1% versus us. It is not Democrat versus Republican. I don't know what will.
Before you get started, I'll say one thing. If rich
You
people,
said a lot of things, so I can't remember where to start.
if rich people don't want to be hated, then they shouldn't take advantage of situations and, like, hoarding water. Okay, go ahead.
I think it's just like, so now just to go back to that point, hoarding water, people didn't even know this was the case in California.
Well, now they know.
Nobody knew this was it. Like one family, a couple, not even a family, a couple own California's water. Like, how ridiculous that sound, that sounds. And the other thing is,
that's what greed does.
That's what greed does. If you don't have anyone checks and balances, okay? People, I honestly feel like we, the civilians, the residents of that state, the residents of the United States, need to be informed, need to stay informed about what's going on, because nobody knew. Like, people are shocked. They're sharing on TikTok that they didn't even know this was the case, because we always think that the water is owned by the government. Even here, like my house, we have a water bill every month, and I'm thinking like, oh, I'm making this payment, so now I have to look into that. And I understand a lot of people are like me. We weren't aware who actually owns the water, like who owns the water. But that's where we fall short. Like, we are just dealing with it. And she said, I agree with her point, that like, when you are working that many hours, you're too preoccupied to like look into anything else. And that's why they want us to work. So one of the rules is to keep you busy. When they keep you busy trying to survive, you don't even tap into your own power. You don't tap into other potentials that are available to you. Just like Elon Musk, I was gonna say, like, all the politicians, no politician only makes the money that they get from their salary. They all have investment. They all invest in stocks. There's actually an app where you can look into like what companies are like, what stocks the politicians are purchasing. That's indication to you that, okay, they're going to implement this type of policy. That's why they're buying this stock. So like you have to find that information. You got it. This is what I mean when I say don't follow the rules. If you follow the rules, if you do everything by the book, if you're not taking out loans, if you're not using these banks, if you're not using the government grants, if you're not using government contracts, you're going to fall behind in life. If you're not using the people who choose to spend all their money on like purchasing, they are consumers, they're constantly buying stuff, have things to sell. Like to me, I honestly believe it might take longer, but everyone has a chance to create something. Even if you create something today and you might not benefit from it, but like you said, a lot of the wealthy people, 60% of the wealthy people, they didn't create this wealth from scratch themselves. They got it. But someone down the line made a sacrifice. They chose to find that information, implement it. They might have taken advantage of few people to achieve that goal. But you know what? If someone is willing to work for you and bring your ideas into fruition for little money and comfort, comfort, this whole 9 to 5 that's what it is. It's an illusion. It gives you comfort, like you have this income coming in, but you're still struggling with paying your bills, buying the foods that are like have less chemicals. You're putting yourself in that position. Why can't you like even invest in like stocks, $20, instead of buying stuff, like being so consumed with purchasing things? Invest some of your money in the stock market. Invest your money in like some of those even companies that like the politicians are investing in. You don't even have to do long-term investment. You can just like really follow where the money is, follow certain politicians that are really known to like purchase big stocks, and just look what stocks they're buying every month. Commit to like buying just even like few hundreds, couple of hundreds, even if you can't afford it, just couple of hundreds, 100 even. I honestly, Fathia and your viewers and anyone watching, I truly, truly believe, I know this world is not perfect. I can't expect it to be a perfect world, but I also believe in us. I believe in us humans. I believe in us, those of us with less advantages that aren't from money, that aren't like, getting the support that they could use. We have responsibilities to ourselves to do whatever it takes without breaking the law, but breaking the rules that were made for you to follow. Like go work, come home, you're exhausted, watch TV, television, you're being programmed anytime you're watching TV. You eat your chemicalized food, you go to sleep, you wake up, that's honestly someone who lives that kind of lifestyle. If they're experiencing money shortage, I can't blame anyone but themselves. They have to blame themselves too, because they chose to spend all their time on like being programmed and also working for someone else. You have to invest in yourself at some point. Either invest yourself a time to get that information, or invest yourself money to get that information. Time, when you invest time, it takes longer. When you invest time, money is shorter. You can get that information in shorter time. Implementing takes time. I agree with you 100%. There are things that I do right now that I've been wanting to do it for the past 7 years. So it does take time, but still, don't ever get tired of like improving your life. And I feel for Americans who like, find out, I mean, like even in Somalia, I think a lot of people own their own homes, right? I mean, I think so. I don't really have much experience there, but a lot of even third world countries, people own their own homes.
Most places in the world, people own their homes.
Yeah. But it's not really for someone to own their homes. Yeah, it makes your life easier. But Americans have an advantage that other people don't have. And I'm not going to say it's a freedom. There's no such a thing as freedom here too. But you have the ability to like really go all in for like couple of years, and just make a decision.
But when you say things like that, though, you're talking as if people are not doing that already. People are doing that. More people are doing that.
Going to work, watching TV.
What you're talking about is the rule, not the exception. Were you talking about
choose to be exception though? That's what I
Yeah.
believe too. Anybody can choose to be the exception individually for themselves.
First of all, that's why every time people try to do whatever they see people working for them, they go after it. I think it was last year alone, Americans made $12 billion of side hustle from TikTok. And here it is being banned. So there's a war on people, ordinary people. And it's a powerful war. And it takes time to realize what's happening. And that's why we are seeing the uprising we are seeing. And I am really, really proud of young Americans realizing what's happening to them, because bottom line is people pay taxes, okay? And they pay taxes. These taxes were supposed to give them some relief, not just building roads and making primary schools free, but also giving them relief, like, having a healthcare, having something to fall back on, your government being there for you when you need them. I'm not saying you should be a welfare queen, although a lot of the rich people are welfare queens. They're more welfare queens than ordinary folks, okay, in the billions. But what I'm saying is a government has a responsibility to its people. And that's why they don't want people finding out information. There's a war on information. Things are actually getting a lot harder than they used to be. So, I'm not going to blame young Americans and people who are waking up every day, doing the right thing, following the rules, and working very, very hard. There aren't too many Americans that sit around and watch TV anymore. Maybe Sunday. People are busy surviving in the hardest way possible. But they're learning, and they're taking their power back. And I am very, very, very proud of them. And not even if most people wake up, not everybody's going to wake up. And because of that, and not everyone is going to be successful. But that's why governments have responsibility to take their people, put their people in rehab. That's why they have responsibility to house the individuals that are sick, people who are homeless, because I'm sorry, but it doesn't look good for America. China doesn't have homeless. We have so much homeless. I live in Seattle, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and our downtown is so beautiful. You can't go to our downtown. It smells like poop. It smells like pee. People are rotting in the corners. What does that make America look like? Well, how is that the land of the free and the land of the brave? It's quite pathetic, if you ask me. And that's not the America that a lot of people, including the Chinese, you're saying the Chinese were coming here. A lot of Chinese now come and they go back. There are actually PhD people.
Yeah.
There are students who used to, oftentimes, 2% of the PhD students, that go, because we still thankfully have the greatest universities in the world. And so a lot of people, send their children here. And we used to always keep, at least 2% of PhD students that went to school here, because we like to keep the best and the brightest, because that's what made America beautiful and great. And so a lot of these students don't want to stay here anymore, because a lot of people are realizing it's not the America that I used to see. The pop culture, the music and the movies and all that stuff. First of all, the freedom is not, there isn't too much freedom as we thought it was. I personally love this country. There's no place I'd rather be. But a lot of people who have a place to go back to are going back, because, and when people come to visit our beautiful country, and they go to our beautiful downtowns and places, and they see what's happening and how it's looking like no man's land, I think that's very sad for us. It's not look good. We don't get the respect that we used to have, because the world's becoming very interconnected, and people are seeing what's happening in our country.
Yeah, like, to me, what makes America free and brave, the land of freedom and bravery, is because everybody has a free will to be whatever they want to be. To me, when I think about that freedom, I don't think about freedom. I think about you have the free will to create the version of you that you want to create. And when it comes to bravery, we're protected. There's no country that can just ambush America and take over. So yes, we do have a strong military. We invest a lot of money into that. And I really believe that. I am a believer that, like, America is one of the strongest countries in the world. And it is because we invest the money into our military. And I love the freedom. That means I just want to be in a country. That's why I love America. What I love about America is that I get to create the version of me that I want to create. So I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that's what makes America a free country. Now, you say that the Chinese students, they come to America and they don't even want to stay anymore. I actually, like, when I went to Ohio State, I had a lot of my, because I was a business major, a lot of my business classes, I did have few Chinese classmates. They never wanted to stay because just going to American college or university just gives them like ample opportunities in their country. So then that, to me itself, I take pride in that, knowing that people from all over the world, if they have a degree from American university in their own country, has a more value than from the college from their country. So to me, that shows to me that America, being having knowledge in America, can set you apart from the rest of the world. That's why they come and then they go back to their country. All of them were going back to their country. This back in like 2008, 2009, 10, 11. That's like, that time. They were all planning to go back. They're either they're from wealthy families, family were paying for their college, or they were here through the government. The government was funding their education. So both times they were just coming to get that knowledge, that American degree, to go back to their country. It was just gonna set them apart from everyone else. So, and that still stands. That still stands. So I just want to say, I want to conclude this. To me, I understand everybody cannot be rich because everybody is not willing to make the sacrifices that anyone who builds wealth is willing to make. It takes a lot to be wealthy. It takes a lot to have a financial freedom. It takes a lot, and it doesn't take only work hours you put in. It takes a lot of mental work too. So if you're not willing to do that, then it's okay. This is not a perfect world. Checks and balances. We do need people who work. We need people who own businesses. We need corporations. We need billionaires, trillionaires, all that stuff. And we need the people who are,
we don't need to
with the world, and they don't even know how to take care of themselves, that they end up using some type of substance and they end up on the streets. They all can exist. But you go ahead, create the version of you that you want to see, is what I want to really say to Americans. And don't envy anyone else. Just work on you every single day. Wake up, ask yourself, what can I do today that version of me from 7 years from today will benefit?
I honestly don't think Americans actually envy other people, which is one of the things I absolutely adore about people of this country. They actually respect people who, when things work out for people, they actually admire that and they love that and they like to emulate. But the people they don't like are the people who are taking advantage of them, and they have the right to dislike them. People who are taking welfare from the system that they don't need, a system that a system that was supposed to fund the greater good of all Americans, and they manipulate that and they take that for themselves and they say, ha ha ha, it's your fault, and it wasn't even, I am rich, I got where I am, but it's your fault that you're not where you are. And it's all based, a lot of it is based on lies and fabrication, and those are the people that they don't like. They don't like people who are disingenuous and who manipulate the system and who take advantage of what belongs to all Americans. But other than that, Americans are not jealous of people who succeed. We love people who succeed, and we actually admire them and want to uplift them even more. But they don't want to be treated like they're dumb. They don't want to be treated as if, oh, it's your fault. People get sick. people, all these things are going to happen. You can do your darnest, and you can still, when you're this close to it, everything can fall apart. I'm a former social worker, and you have people who work their whole lives. They have a nice little home. That not everybody wants to be a millionaire. The vast majority of the people that just want to live comfortably, and then all of a sudden a person gets sick and their insurance drops them. They lose their job. They can't work anymore. Their insurance, they lose their health insurance, and then they want to apply for Medicaid. And you know what Medicaid tells them? It tells them, well, you got to do what's called spend down. You got to sell. Eventually it comes down to sell your house. And if I sell my house, what do? Become homeless? How's that fair?
There are loopholes. See, everything you mentioned, as soon as you mentioned, I was already thinking about it. First of all, if your insurance does you the service, there are actually organizations or lawyers that you can work with that are.
Oh my God, you're simplifying, Muhibbo. That's not.
No, I'm not.
Even if you get a lawyer, most insurances, even private insurances, there's a cap of $2 million. Even if you go to Copra and you continue, please don't oversimplify it.
No,
it's not like that. You're making it sound like it's their fault when people get sick, and if the helps them and all that. It's not fair. It's not true. There are a lot of
I disagree 100%. I disagree.
Yeah, a lot of people
way out. There's always way out. It's not going to be the same day, but there's always way out.
Not when you have cancer and your days are numbered and you are counting and you have certain medications that you're supposed to take, and all of a sudden your insurance says, oh, you don't really need to take this kind of medications. We're not paying for it. It's easier. You don't even have the strength. Where do you begin? A lawyer. Please don't say that.
No, honestly, I mean, this is my truth.
Very mean-spirited. Wallahi. Because it can happen to anyone. It's nobody.
Totally how I feel
like that.
And it's okay for me to have this perception. It doesn't define, like, I'm not. Please don't label me. Don't label me as a mean-spirited. This is my truth, and this is absolutely what I believe.
But it can be your truth because you're saying people who get sick like that, it's their fault. And if
information is what I said.
Stops them.
Listen, I don't blame anyone for anything. I never use this their fault, because to me, I don't even believe the whole blaming. What I believe is taking accountability. It's not my job to tell someone else, oh, that's your fault.
In that situation, it's the same when you say it's your fault or taking accountability. How can I take accountability? I did everything. I had insurance. I had a job. I did everything I was supposed to do.
Maybe you were not supposed to do all of that. Maybe you were not.
It's the system that's forsaken me. How is that my fault if the system plays? I mean, we all know what happened a month ago with the Luigi gentleman and all that stuff. It's the system that forsaken these people, and it's the powerful that get away with so much.
Because the powerful know the loopholes.
But because they're not just doing this on their own, because they are not million people, it's because they have armies of lawyers versus one person. Are you saying an army of lawyers and privilege and money versus one person? And if you, as the one person, lose, it's your fault.
Take accountability. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying anyone's fault. I'm not from my world. I don't blame anyone. I allow people to have their own journey.
So it's always the little person's fault then. It's never the rich and powerful.
They need to do what they need to do.
But they did. They had a job. They were paying for insurance. They had a home. They did everything.
No, because remember what I said. Listen to my words. I did not say they need to do what the system tells them to do. I said they need to do what.
In a case like that, tell me, what were they supposed to do? Tell me. Okay, they had a job. They were paying for insurance. They were even paying. Even after the job let them go or whatever, they couldn't work. They still paid their Copra. Copra is, by the way, very, very expensive. And then all of a sudden you are told, well, we can't cover you anymore because you have a $2 million cap, and that's the end for you. Where did they go wrong? Tell me.
Where did they go wrong? They didn't go wrong anywhere. But this is what I would do if I were in that situation, which I don't like speaking things into existence for myself. But if someone is in that situation, they need to get back to themselves, into their soul being, and think about all the other options that are available. Maybe they need to consult with someone who's well aware of their situation, what resources are available to them, what information is available to them, their state, their city. That's what
Well,
I'm.
of course, that was already happening. That's where we came in as social workers and all that. You know, most people don't just sit around and say, okay, it's all done for me. Yes, you try to fight back, but the system is million times stronger than you. What people are saying in a nutshell, they're not asking for handout. They're not asking for favors.
But they're following a system.
They're asking for fairness. Is what they're asking for, fairness. And I don't think that is out of bounds or too much to ask. They're asking for fairness. Treat me like a human being. I will do the rest. I will just give me my rights. I will do my responsibilities. That's not too much to ask at all, the way I see it. Anyway, I'm done. Well, you can close it.
So I want to close it. Remember, you are always in control. Do not give your power away to the government. The government can't do much for you. They set up rules for you to follow. If you follow those rules, it's not going to lead you anywhere. So what you need to do, everyone, tap into your soul and do what's in your best interest. Do not follow the system. If you follow the system, you're going to end up with nothing. You're going to end up losing your own life, if not everything else you have.
All right. Let's look at the comments. Okay. You are acting like it's okay for China to black, but nobody else. What is that? I don't know what that is. Okay. IUSA is okay. Well, I don't know. Blocking. What is this? No, that's how you perceive it. It's the same across the board. If America has that concern and can ban apps, then any other country can. Oh, yeah, I got it. Well, yeah, it's true. Okay, I think it's for the most part, there's one person that's leaving that's leaving messages. Yeah. But anyway,
it's beyond security, guys. It's beyond security. It's all about monopoly, honestly. Like Mark Zuckerberg wants to, and Elon Musk, they want to own all the social media in the US. They want to have a control over it, and then the US government wants something to control. This is what it is. This is why I don't follow, like, nothing on TV does not serve me. If it's on TV, I do not follow it, okay? And that's because it's not here to serve me. It wasn't created to serve me. So what's on TV is whatever the government, the propaganda, the wealthy, whatever, like the evil wealthy want you to know. And American government, they want to have control. They want to have their hands in everything, because TikTok doesn't. This is what it is. TikTok does not have U.S. stock. It doesn't have a stock, so they can't buy TikTok stock. The politicians, because that's what they do best. They buy stocks. They purchase tons of Meta. Like they spent millions on Meta stocks just like a few days ago, and when this whole ban started. So, like, always follow the money. These people aren't in your best interest. They don't care about you. You need to wake up every day and ask yourself, and just don't follow the rules. Honestly, that's all I'm going to say to the people. If you follow the rules created by the system, those rules weren't created for you. It was created to keep you in a trap.
So well, that's why that's why what's happening is happening, because they're not listening to what they are telling them, because it's like, I'm going to find out the truth from the horse's mouth and you can't stop me. And it's like, oh, now you don't want to be programmed anymore. So they are doing that. I mean, I don't think that, that's definitely something they're doing, and I'm very, very proud of them. I wanted to say though, I heard that in on Rednote, you cannot have a hijab as your on your profile. If you are hijabi on your profile, that's violating one of the guidelines. You can have videos that you're wearing a hijab, but just the profile, which is very strange. So FYI, some of the hijabis out there, so maybe create an avatar you know. All right, I
That's
think
part of
that's
their
it.
terms.
Huh?
That's part of their terms that you
Yeah,
cannot do in hijab.
yeah, on your profile.
Yeah,
But you can always create an
avatar.
avatar.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Awesome.
I
Well, you
think
guys, I hope you enjoy. Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
good.
I hope you guys enjoyed our heated discussion. But
Yes.
I agree to disagree. I'm okay with you having your opinions. I'm
Well,
okay with
that's why we're agreeing to disagreeing.
right.
Yeah.
But I don't want you to, like, perpetuate that I'm evil person too.
I did
I
not
don't
say you're an evil person. I said, but when you talk like that, you're sounding
mean-spirited.
like, I said,
Yeah.
you're sounding like, that's kind of like mean girl spirit or mean person spirit. Yeah, when somebody, and I'm going to stick with that term. I'm going to say anyone, doesn't have to be you, but anyone who says whatever happened to you when you did all the things you're supposed to do, whatever happened to you, it's your fault, but not the people who are more powerful who are taking advantage of you. I think that's being mean-spirited, because that's not justice, and
Well,
I'm all
the
about
thing is,
justice.
you're using a phrase that I never used. Your fault. I don't even use that word in my personal life.
You said it from the beginning. Oh, yeah.
Accountability,
We're gonna go back to the video. Yes.
But
Yes.
I
You
said
said
it.
many
Okay, so
times.
if I said it,
It's your responsibility means it's your fault.
you
It's
need
your
to.
fault means it's your fault. And you use actually the term from the beginning when we started the discussion. It's your fault. When people do the right thing, if you just lay around and F around, it's different than when you did everything you're supposed to do, and a more powerful system that's protected from your government
Supposed to do.
is taking advantage of
That's a
you.
word
Oppression.
I cannot. Supposed
Yeah.
to. Like you're following a book. Like
Anyway, we gotta leave it there because it's becoming more than an hour. We will continue this discussion, and yes, we agree to disagree, but yeah, that we that's part of the deal here. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone that's watching us. We wish you all the best until next time, inshallah. We're planning what Thursdays and Saturdays, inshallah.
yes,
Right?
definitely. Well, yes, we're going to be coming live and having heated debates here. But yeah, thank you so much, honey, and you guys, I wish you the best. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Have a
Thank you so
fabulous
much.
Saturday, all.
Same here, Galo. All the best. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.